The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of the staff and management of Salem Media of Hawaii.
Welcome to Generations Radio, where the focus is on our seniors and their families. We are here each Saturday afternoon from 5 until 6 p.m., bringing you resourceful information with our radio team of professionals in the field of aging. Stay with us for the next 1 hour as we explore different ways to make life more exciting and meaningful for our extraordinary seniors. Right here on AM 690 The Answer. And now, here is our host and the publisher of Generations Magazine, Percy Ihara.
So welcome back to Generations Radio. How are you guys doing? Thank you for everybody that came to our Aging in Place workshop on last month in August. It was unbelievable. We had so many people, lines out the door. And we are looking at making it easier for everybody next year. We're looking at multiple workshops next year. And we want to make sure that there's not as many lines, and we'll be able to handle that a little better this year. Anyway, thank you very much for joining. We're here every Saturday from 5 to 6 and Sunday from 3 to 4. You can also go to our YouTube channel, Generations Magazine, and subscribe. And that way you'll get all the past radio shows as well. And don't forget our August-September issue is out with the master ukulele player, Roy Sukuma. And I'll also ask, by the way, look out for the senior fair. It's going to be September 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. It's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 8:30 to 4:30. And actually, Roy's going to be signing his autographs and signing magazines on Friday morning. So if you love ukulele, you want to definitely come out and see Roy. His has a great story. He's doing a lot in the community. So I really have to thank Roy. And you'll probably see more about him coming weeks, because I think there's going to be more stories written about him. So anyway, we're glad to have him first. Anyway, as you guys know, Generations Magazine is a resource magazine. And I always like to be proactive, so I try to find resources, connect with people that are doing great work out there, but also really, helping us live longer and helping us live a better quality of life longer. And so one of our partners, one of my favorite guys here that's been on more than once, that I've been very interested in because I want to stay healthy, is James Carter. James, our local expert in acupuncture. Welcome to the show again, James.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. So, every time I meet you, I learn new things. And but we wanted to go back, right? We want to kind of explain to people, like, I've had acupuncture. Actually, this was the first time I had acupuncture. I was going to try a couple of times. I kind of, be honest with you, chickened out. Uh-huh. But, you enlightened me on about acupuncture, because all we people know is these Chinese guys, and they just poke needles in you. And there's a certain place in the body you poke needles, right?
Yeah.
But give us your background. I know you've done a lot of training on the Chinese professionals, and why don't you give us that background?
Okay, sure. So as many people know, Chinese medicine is very, very old. Actually, it's over 5,000 years old. And for all intents and purposes, some people do not know that it's not even completely Chinese, that there were Native Americans practicing a form of acupuncture, with salmon bone and fractured eagle claw.
Several
thousand years ago. And they also found a gentleman in the Alps of the European mountains, and they called him Otzi, and he's a man who was mummified from the ice, and 8,000-year-old man who had acupuncture tattoos on his body.
Really?
So what we do know is that kind of the region that's now present-day China is really the first culture and society that wrote everything down in books, whereas Native Americans had an oral tradition. The Chinese wrote everything down, and so we have a whole historical record of the medicine and what it can do for people. It treats all manner of chronic disease, and was recording and weighing organs and recording different treatments and disease processes using acupuncture and herbs about 3,000 years before the birth of Christ. So it has a really, really ancient and long history. And today, it's we have much better technology when it comes to needles. So you're no longer using sticks or bones or hand-filed metal needles. Very, very micro, tiny points.
Feel them.
You can barely feel them. Yeah, very specific spots on the body, and then it creates a healing reaction in the body, because the body believes that when it gets acupuncture, that there is something happening, like a foreign object. The nerves are stimulated, and that creates a whole cascade of reactions in the body that can stimulate healing and then promote positive circulation everywhere. Because in Chinese medicine, we really see that the number one cause of a degenerative condition or a chronic disease is that the inhibition of a proper circulation of the blood, oxygen, and nutrients. And that if we can restore that using herbs or acupuncture in any way we can, that the body will take the message of that and then create the healing process. No different for a paper cut than it is for healing a major back pain or chronic headaches or post-stroke or post-heart attack, anything like that. The process is no different. It's really the focus, really the main principle for the viewers to understand is that if there is an injury or chronic problem, then somehow the flow of blood, oxygen, and nutrients to that area has become impaired. And so to restore the body and enhance the body's function, you promote the flow of blood, oxygen, and nutrients, and then the area has everything it needs to do its job well and to self-correct whatever's gone off.
That's really what it is circulation, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Even like aerobics, the same thing. Aerobics started because we have to breathe and we have to inhale and get circulation of oxygen in your lungs and in your whole body. And like our other partner, Xanthocin, the anti-inflammatory supplement, it's all about blood flow, making sure things come in and out on a regular basis, on a timely basis, an efficient basis. But so, and I know you talked to, you've been to many classes, you've done a lot of research and done studies with Chinese professionals on the mainland, yeah? Can you name some of those people?
Yeah, I had the opportunity to study with a couple really incredible teachers, so I always like to honor my teachers and give them respect that they were willing to share with me their knowledge. So one of my teachers, Dr. Li Cheng Huang, is a master of diagnosing any problem in the body just by looking at the ear. And my other teacher, Dr. Zhang Weiyan.
The ear one is auricular, right?
Auricular therapy, yeah. So that the ear, a lot of people are familiar with that the ear can be used for healing, like people sometimes see people who have the little magnets or seeds on the ear. But actually, this takes it a whole step farther in that you can look at the vein patterns and the cartilage protrusions and bumps and the texture and the colorations
of your
ear. Of your ear, yes.
You gotta have a good eye.
Yeah, and you can diagnose any past problem over 200 chronic diseases and conditions just through the ear. Like I had someone this morning, a new client, come in, and we were able to diagnose the cause of her electrical misfire in her heart just by looking in her ear, and the chronic cough. So I was able to diagnose her just by looking at the texture, coloration in her ear. It was very, very simple. I didn't need, $2,000 worth of tests. I just looked in the ear and it told me the whole story. And they, of course, were blown away. The jaw was dropped. But it is really amazing. I didn't invent the system. That credit all goes to Dr. Huang. She spent 60 years studying and cataloging ears. And then my other professor is Dr. Zhang Weiyan, and I learned how to read a pulse from him. So in Chinese medicine, you read the pulse and you can feel how the circulation is through the different systems of the body. So that's how we used to look and see what a person might need most help with. What's the best area to start with?
So I know I sat down with you one time, and you always do the pulse test. So what it's for those of you listening. Viewing will come soon, as you guys know. I mentioned earlier with Mike Buck that Generations TV show is going to debut October 4th on OC16, Channel 12, by the way. It's not Channel 16. It's going to debut October 4th. It's a Wednesday at 7:30. It'll run almost every day of the week at different various times, but Generations TV is coming. But anyway, for the listeners here, what exactly, how do you actually do that? Because all I know is my heart goes beep, beep, beep. And it beats faster if I'm running or doing something, and it beats slower if I'm sleeping. What are you listening for?
It's a great question. So you can think about the principle of it is start with like the basics, and then you can go very, very far down the rabbit hole and really see where the circulation is through all the systems of the body. You can actually feel through the pulse, a very skilled practitioner. But if you think about it, like if you have a garden hose, and you can kind of theorize how well the pump or how well the system is working upstream from that, like if there's a congestion, how well the water pressure is or the strength by feeling the pipe downstream, right? So we get a good understanding about how blood is flowing through certain systems of the body by feeling the radial artery of the hand. So you can theorize how well the heart is able to pump the blood oxygen nutrients through the whole system by feeling that. We have there's several thousand things that can potentially happen in a pulse in Chinese diagnosis, but you can generally feel like if you want to do it, if someone was at home and wanted to do on their husband or wife or child just for fun, you can press on the pulse right at the wrist crease, and you can see, if it's very deep, weak, that person might tend to be tired. If it's very fast, thick, full, hard, person might have high blood pressure. If it's very congested or feels very tight, that person might have plaque in their veins. If it's very wobbly or shaky, that person might have poor circulation in the legs. So there's all sorts of things you can see. It's actually quite fun. I enjoy doing it. It's quite fun.
And what would Western practitioners say about reading your pulse?
Well, I would say they do read the pulse to a degree, right? So they don't really spend a lot of time on the pulse. So it's seen as,
No, they don't.
They'll check the rate. And, I have some great friends who are medical doctor, and we talk about pulse. We've had some great conversations. But in general, they'll feel the rate, they'll feel the timing, and then they'll determine what your rate of your pulse is. And that's pretty much where it stops. But in Chinese medicine, like, for example, I've read several million pulses. So the fine motor sensitivity of the fingertips is trained in a way that you can feel the subtle waveforms that occur throughout the radial artery. Mm-hmm. And then you can theorize with experience, if you know what kind of a pulse is the proper or correct pulse, like the optimum healthy pulse, you can start to feel and see variations from the norm. And kind of, people have seen the foot chart where the foot has all the organs of the whole body, and that you can kind of, reflexology or these kinds of things, or the ear is kind of see, but actually the pulse also has that. So you can feel the different waveforms and pressure gradient at the different regions of the pulse to theorize what's happening downstream. So the other day, I diagnosed someone who had a fibrosis or fibrotic cyst endometriosis in the ovaries and uterus. You could feel those little bumps, felt like little grains of sand in the lower jiao of the pulse, which is the lower abdomen. You can even feel if someone has a congestion in their lungs, like a COPD condition. The lung pulse is very weak and soft. So actually, you can tell quite a few things. I would say that is probably one of the most powerful diagnostic methods that humanity has. But if we could just get the nurses and the doctors to learn how to take a pulse this way, oh my gosh, it would revolutionize healthcare in our country. Save a lot of money, that's for sure.
Wow, great. So anyway, so we're talking about earlier. I remember talking about this. I was kind of curious. Acupuncture, okay? So they poke needles in you, open up your fluid circulation. Mm-hmm. But like in Western medicine, what kind of doctor are you? Well, I'm a chiropractor, I'm a orthopedic, I'm a ear, nose, and throat guy or something like that. What acupuncture, are there people that specialize in certain parts of the body, or is acupuncture just all over?
No, yeah, there's definitely people who specialize in different regions of the body or different functions of the body. I would say where it kind of differs from conventional medical thought is that we do not divide the body up or separate the body in the same way that a conventional medical physician or scientist would. Mm-hmm. So, for example, everyone knows who a dentist is, right? Or you have a cardiovascular doctor, or you have a gastroenterologist. So one would be looking at the teeth and the mouth, one would be looking at the heart and the circulation system, and one would be looking at the gastrointestinal tract, your GI and your stomach and your bowel movement and everything like that. So they separate out the professions of the medicine based on the systems of the body, but that way of dividing the body kind of like mechanically is not how Chinese medicine sees the body. We rather focus on the functional systems of the body. So the heart in Chinese medicine, right, we don't have a cardiovascular necessarily just look at the heart or the pump. We're looking at how the blood moves through the body, what the quality of the blood is, how is the body producing the blood, what needs to be put in the blood so the body can function optimally and at its best, and what areas of the body are there restrictions in the flow of that we can restore so the body is functioning even better. So I would say I can speak to myself personally that I'm specialized in internal medicine condition. So the health of the organ systems, the health of the brain, the health of the sensory functions, that is my area of focus. That's where I did my postgraduate training, is in diagnosis and treatment of those conditions. But I know that other practitioners, they might specialize in fertility. I have a good friend of mine. She's a phenomenal fertility specialist doctor. And there's different acupuncturists who focus on more like auto accident or this or that. But my personal focus that I have done my graduate training in is internal medicine. So the treatment of the organ systems is really my skill set.
Oh, good for you. Yeah, it's interesting. If you're listening, I would tell you if you have any existing issues, if you have chronic issues, I would definitely check out acupuncture. And James is in our magazine every issue, and he writes a small column as well. But so we wanted today focus on brain health, brain function, and how Eastern medicine can help you and different lifestyles and nutrition, right? So we're going to talk about Chinese medicine's unique holistic approach to health. And it's really important that circulation and blood flow is the key to life, right? Exactly, right? So, okay, so how does acupuncture, Chinese medicine help out with improving your memory? Because, Alzheimer's Association will say there's really nothing that can stop it or slow it down.
Yes.
Right? So how does acupuncture help with your brain memory and staying healthy?
So I would just start by saying that everybody, I think, in my personal opinion, is doing the best they can and giving the best information they can with the knowledge that they've been given, right? So everybody wants a cure and a solution and holistic natural things they can do to heal. No one would argue with that. Everybody would want that. But it's just a matter of what the person has seen and been exposed to. So most people in our culture have not, unfortunately, been exposed to natural and holistic things that can be done or given to improve memory and to improve blood flow through the brain, because that concept is foreign to them. Because acupuncture, the physiological process and how acupuncture works is not understood by mainstream or by science. These kinds of things in the West, people don't understand what it can do for them. So that's why I'm really excited to share this, because
it is. You're very right. I mean, it's homeopathic. There's all these holistic healthcare, but acupuncture really does. It's been around forever, and slowly more and more people are realizing it is a way to stay healthy.
Yeah, and it's what's so unique about acupuncture is that its effect on circulation is so powerful, and that there's not really any other modality that can reproduce the effect that acupuncture can achieve in a level of efficacy or efficiency that it can. So I can just give you a few examples, and then people can start to see how this may apply in their own individual situations. So, for example, lower back pain, right, or neck pain, or start with things like that are relatively simple. When an area is tight or restricted or the muscles are painful, the area is naturally going to restrict the flow of blood into that area, and there's going to be an inflammatory process that started. So yoga can be helpful, swimming, these kinds of things can help and be very, very good. But in a lot of cases, the problem is too great, the pain level may be too great, that it's not enough to actually relax the muscles and to push blood flow in the area, especially if it's been going on for years. As many people who come to me have had chronic pain 10, 20, 30, 50 years.
Yeah.
And they've kind of given up to a degree. And so it's difficult to psychologically grasp that I could just place some needles in the forearm and within 30 seconds, the lower back feels warm and then the pain goes away, right? It's a hard concept to grasp. But the body in Chinese medicine was not dissected or understood mechanistically. It was understood actually. They studied the flow of nerves and blood flow in the body longitudinally. So that's very different than how a physiologist or anatomy doctor would look at it. They look at the different pieces, and then if you look at most of the muscle names, right, they're taught in school in anatomy, most of them are European or Latin names. The so-called person discovered this muscle, and they're going to name it Gracialis or obturator. These strange names. Right. It makes anatomy class really miserable unless you have like a photographic memory.
Right.
So, but what I can say is that they did not arrange things that way. So they didn't separate all the muscles. Rather, they're looking at the flow of blood and nerves that goes through this whole strip on the body longitudinally, or that goes down this part of the body, or goes down this part of the body, down the front, down the back. And that all of these groups of muscles or tissues share a blood supply.
Right.
So in the organ systems, for example, the pancreas and the spleen are connected. But Western physiology would say that the spleen is a immune system organ, like a large lymph node, and that the pancreas produces insulin and glucose regulation in the body, and that they're not related. But Chinese medicine, when you a point in Chinese medicine would treat the blood flow supply through the pancreas and the spleen at once. So they're interchangeable because we're focused on the vascular network in the body and how the vascular network can open up blood flow through an area or inhibit blood flow through an area. So that's the whole focus of the treatments that are done in acupuncture practice, at least from the perspective that I'm coming from, is it's actually very scientific. So when you're stimulating a jie with a needle, when you put in a needle or an acupuncture point into the body on some level thinks it's being injured, right? And so the body naturally will create a reaction to that, sends a signal to the brain sends a signal down to the area and then to other corresponding areas. And the area will start to increase a blood flow. So the area turns red. And then oftentimes you'll do points and then the other area will turn red. Like I had someone who got treatment for eyes, degenerative eye condition, and we just did points in the feet. And all of a sudden, when I came back in the room about 15 minutes later, looked like they had like a raccoon mask, bright red.
Really?
That's the increased blood perfusion into the face. And it lasted for a few hours. But it was, wow. When I saw that, I said, it makes sense. We're talking about creating a change in the circulation. And a lot of it has to do with how the nervous system is kind of arranged like mirrors backed onto each other like endlessly. So the whole nervous system is like a hologram.
Right. So when it comes to memory, and how Alzheimer's, is there a way to slow it down? Because I think there's nothing right now that can stop it. But slowing it down, all I've been told is that you just stay healthy as possible. I think increasing blood flow definitely makes a difference, right? So how does that affect memory? How do you affect memory?
Good question. I would say, well, the label Alzheimer's is actually a label, right? It's a label used to classify certain symptoms or tests that are given, right? So it's actually the term Alzheimer's or the term Parkinson's or the term MS to a degree can become like a belief system. And then our perception that it can't be cured or that it can't be helped becomes like prison bars. So we can't possibly see outside of that because we believe so strongly that no, the scientific evidence shows that this is this and this is this. But there are many different types of science. And biology, chemistry, and physics are wonderful forms of science, but there are other forms of science, especially the sciences that ancient peoples understood and recognized. So it absolutely can be helped, and there's many, many things that can be done for that, and especially within Chinese medicine. There's acupuncture points we can use to increase blood flow into the brain. We can stimulate the nerves around the scalp. We can use microcurrent around the scalp and the ears to directly stimulate the different regions of the brain. They've done tests and shown that certain areas, when you acupuncture point them, will actually increase blood flow or deactivate blood flow to certain areas of the brain. So you push blood flow around the body into areas where it may be lacking. Like, for example, a degenerative brain condition, whatever the label that they may call it, the blood flow has started to recede from the brain, especially like the cerebrum or the frontal lobe or the memory center. So we use acupuncture points, and then we use acupressure around the head and the neck and stretching and different things like that to increase blood flow into the brain. So we know that there's been a lot of studies that show rebound exercises and aerobics increase blood flow into the brain and have like a neuroprotective effect. But acupuncture, because its effect is on the same kind of principle as that, circulation, it also has this effect. It also increases it also increases the amount of enkephalins, endorphins, the feel-good kind of chemicals in the body that you get after kind of like a runner's high. Someone does exercise, they'll feel like this sense of peace and calm, as this acupuncture stimulates those things too. So it really can help the people, especially with the stress component associated with this condition. And I would say probably one of the strongest things that can be done within Chinese medicine to help people like this is Chinese herbal medicine. So there are many different herbs that are used. And it's interesting, in some foreign countries, and I won't kind of go too deep into this, but certain conditions that we have in America don't even exist. They don't even exist.
Really? Can you give us an example?
Well, there's some regions in China. There's some regions in India where memory issues like this are not even acknowledged. There's no evidence that there's any type of neurodegenerative conditions like this that exist in those areas. Certain areas that we've heard of, Okinawa 100 years ago, life expectancy, the highest concentration of centenarians.
Right.
And what was their diet? So 90% plants, a little bit of fish, a little bit of meat, healthy, whole foods, simple life, sleeping well, all of these things, and they live a long, long time. So we can learn a lot from these cultures and try to adapt at least what we can to hopefully live longer, right? So
yeah.
there's a lot of things that can help people's brain that actually have been shown to improve memory to varying degrees. So, for example, rosemary, incorporating rosemary.
I love rosemary.
I know, me too. It's very, very, especially on garlic bread.
Oh, yeah.
So, rosemary, you can make a tea out of rosemary. That's very beneficial for the brain. Turmeric, right? Turmeric. Different spices, cumin, coriander, mushroom, shiitake, maitake, dark leafy greens, omega-3 fatty acids found in flax, chia, salmon. So there's a lot of different simple things, lifestyle things that you can do. Then there's also very, very more stronger intensive treatments if someone actually has. So these are kind of like maintaining things, maintaining your health,
yeah, exactly
decreasing brain inflammation.
We've
Yeah,
been preaching that for years. Hopefully you guys
Exactly.
are listening. You're being proactive and utilizing the information. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I try to practice that every day.
exactly. Yeah, and if someone needs stronger, then we have Chinese herbal medicine, right? So Chinese herbs are incredible, but they taste like mud.
The last one you gave me didn't taste so good. But let me actually backtrack. So how did you learn about all the mixtures? Because I've seen your wall of all your Chinese herbs. How did you learn about all this?
A lot of reading, studying, and tasting. So what's kind of fun for people maybe to understand is that we would say that Chinese herbs, food, and Western medication are all on the same scale. They're just on different ends of the spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
So nutrition and herbs and medication, they're all something that we take in and that can be helpful for us, or it can be harmful for us. Herbs are no different than that. So in general, herbs are extremely safe, but they're given according to a diagnosis that someone receives, what they need, what is going on in their body, then how can we restore the health of their body using the herbs. So, I try to only use organic, purified herbs that have been tested. So 99% of the herbs that I carry are that way, except a few rare herbs. It's not possible to get that way, but herbal medicines are very, very powerful, and you can use them for all sorts of chronic conditions. For the health of the different organ systems, there's specific herbal combinations to treat all manner of chronic conditions. So for the brain, even something that people wouldn't necessarily think is really beneficial can be extremely beneficial. For example, we use earthworm is one of the common herbs that's
Earthworm? Okay.
is a common herb that's used in Alzheimer's, and people are very familiar with that. And a lot of the secret to herbalism is actually the flavor profile, and how the herb grows will give you a glimpse into how it may affect your body. So I'm not saying anyone go eat herbs unless you've been prescribed properly. Do not go try this at home on your own, please. But different herbs, you can kind of get a glimpse about what they may do in the body depending on how they taste, where they grow, how they grow. So if you think about an earthworm, right? The earthworm burrows deep, deep into the ground, into the tiniest spaces that we can't reach. So therefore, it's very, very good at getting circulation into the tiny, tiny areas that we can't reach. Or ginkgo biloba. It grows on the tree, and it looks kind of like some structures in the brain. And it's been found to improve blood circulation into the brain.
Right.
Or a reishi mushroom, high antioxidant. Or green tea, organic green tea. Bacopa. So just throwing out some herbs maybe people take a look at. But these are all very common herbs that are used in combination with other herbs to create a really powerful effect to improve someone's brain health. And even something like organic coconut oil, black sesame seeds, a little bit of honey. You can make a blended drink with that, and coconut milk. It's called a toddy. So this is kind of a delicious drink that can help improve your brain health. Home, you just use a little bit of coconut oil, coconut milk, turmeric or ginger. You can use a little cinnamon and honey, black sesame seeds, and just blend it up, and you make a delicious drink that's really good for your brain.
It might have a hard time going down, though.
Well, not in equal ratios.
Okay.
He uses mostly coconut milk, like 80% coconut milk, and then the other
okay.
ingredients take up the rest. But
No, I think it's really important. I've tried a few. I like most of them.
yeah,
The last one wasn't so good, but I really believe if anything can help you, if you have chronic issues especially, but just to maintain normal everyday living and have a great quality of life, I think it's really important. We're here with James Carter, licensed acupuncturist here in Hawaii. James, it's called Luna
Acupuncture and Wellness.
Right, and if you go to our website, it's Google that. He's also in Generations Magazine, one of our partners. Again, what's the phone number they can reach you at? What's the best number?
503-853-2866.
And you're gonna get a local number soon, right?
Yes, sir.
I know, because he's been only here for a few months.
No, I've been about a year.
About a year now.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
No wonder
here for
you're
a
always
year.
busy.
Yeah.
You're always busy now. But
And
anyway.
I do have capsules, FYI.
Oh, okay.
So don't be scared by the herbs.
Okay, we'll take a short break. We'll be right back.
We will be right back with Percy Ihara from Generations Radio. If you have any questions or want to be part of our discussion, give us a call at 296-5467. That's 296-5467. This is Generations Radio on AM 690 The Answer.
Moon Physical Therapy is here to help you back to recovery. Moon Physical Therapy is located on Ward Avenue across from Sports Authority. Physician prescribed for motor vehicle accidents, workman's comp, or that body pain that comes from rushing to play without warming up. Also event cardiopulmonary rehabilitation with our one-on-one patient care. Moon's Aquatherapy heated endless pool allows for low-impact exercise with less pain on land. We will give you the right exercises to get you back to health. Ask your doctor to prescribe Moon Physical Therapy. Moon Physical Therapy. We achieve results.
Aloha, this is Martha Clopin.
And Al Harrington. Choosing the right Medicare plan not only saves you money, it also helps you avoid headaches and heartaches down the road.
We want to remind everyone
To listen to a Medicare Moment with Martha, Sundays from 9:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. as we help answer important questions on Medicare so you can stay healthy, wealthy, and wise all year long.
call me at 543-2073. 543-2073.
Oahu's newest senior living community, Ilima at Lehano, is now open in the heart of Kapolei. Within this beautiful new community, offering independent living, assisted living, and memory care, you will experience a feeling of ohana that provides a sense of community and peace of mind for our kupuna. A range of spacious apartment styles are available, from large studios to spacious 1 and 2 bedroom plans, most with a large private lanai. Be one of the first to call Ilima your home. Visit ilimaAtlehano.com or call 674-8022.
Got Vegas on your mind? Get Vacations Hawaii on the line. Vacations Hawaii offers weekly 4 and 5 night Honolulu to Vegas packages, which include 3 meals daily from $6.99. Stay at Hawaii's favorite casinos: California, Fremont, Main Street Station, and Orleans Hotel. Vacations Hawaii will get you there in comfort on deluxe wide-body 767 planes with complimentary in-flight hot meal service. Vacations Hawaii's frequent flyer program gives you future travel discounts and credits. So if you're ready to win big, call Vacations Hawaii at 591-4777 or visit PointVacationsHawaii.com.
Today, more than ever, we local people are living longer than any other state in the Union, with more seniors, baby boomers, and caregivers. Generations Radio promotes the importance to be proactive as we all age. The radio team will focus on issues facing our seniors and their families, finding resources to navigate healthy aging along with financial, legal, and caregiving information. So join Percy Ihara from 5 until 6 each Saturday, right here on AM 690 The Answer. Focusing on the issues facing our seniors and their families today. Here's our Generations Radio host, Percy Ihara.
So welcome back to Generations Radio. Now, don't forget go to our YouTube channel and subscribe to Generations Magazine, because we will be putting it over in about a month. You'll be able to go to our website and have them all there. We're currently working on that. We're also working on our Generations TV show that's going to appear on OC16. That's Channel 12 for them. It'll run almost daily, and everything you see in the magazine was bring to the TV show and much, much more. So don't forget that. Also, our Generations 808 website, a lot of resources. I use it almost every day as well for resources. Just on the search bar, click on people's names or a topic like Social Security, Medicare, caregiving. So it's really important that if you're looking for resources, please go to our website, generations808.com. As well, we have a Facebook page. Like our Facebook page. Very soon you'll see more video there, but we post 3 to 4 times a week. Thanks to Mapuana, our social media girl. She's done a great job. And, if you see some information, please share it. We're going to have a lot of healthy aging information, but also for those of you that are caregiving or have older parents, you really need to start getting your resources available. Unfortunately, I'm at my age where having with a lot of my friends and classmates, parents passing away, or they're having to deal with first-hand experience with caregiving. Almost every week I get a call from somebody I know that their parents need help. They need resources. So it's really important. As your parent ages, they're not always going to be that healthy, including my parents. They're getting up in age as well. So we always watch them very carefully, making sure we have conversation about future, where to live, if you can't drive anymore, if you need help with Medicare, Social Security. Really, really important to surround yourself around professionals. And so that's what we do. Now, don't forget our August-September issue of Generations Magazine is out. We have actually 5 racks downtown on Alakea Street. We have it on King Street. We have it on Bishop Street. We're down by Down to Earth on Ely, and right in front there, in front of the post office downtown. So check us out there. And as well, go to our website, generations808.com, because you can get a list of our distribution points. We have over 200. But I always tell people, for the best place to find a magazine, just go to any state library or YMCA. They always have a bunch of them down there. If you're from the Big Island, hang tight, because every month we have magazines at KTA. So thank you to KTA. So don't forget, Generations Radio here every Saturday from 5 to 6, Sunday from 3 to 4 here on AM 690. And one of our experts are in the studio here, Mr. James Carter, our local expert on acupuncture and Chinese medicine. So James, we're talking about brain health with Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, but there's a lot of other things that people can do with Chinese medicine, Chinese training, really, especially with like Qigong, which is, and Tai Chi, right? Mm-hmm. And that's been found to be a great way to prevent falls. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So can you expound more on those teachings?
Yeah. So Qigong and Tai Chi, I personally have been doing form of martial arts since I was about 5. And so I was exposed to Qigong and Tai Chi very early on in my life. Yeah. Wow. And so now I'm much more in the medical side of it and the health side than the self-defense side. When I was a kid, it was fun. But yeah, it's absolutely increases circulation, helps stretches areas, keeps areas mobile and warm, and it's really fantastic. I highly recommend Tai Chi and Qigong. And Chinese medicine, to tie this in, it's all about prevention and keeping the body well, right? Maintaining the health. Mm-hmm. It says in the Huangdi Neijing, the Emperor's Inner Canon of Medicine, the classic, it's a classic text, 5,000 years old. It says, the superior physician treats the disease that has not yet manifested. It also says that at the very beginning of the book is like a documentary, a conversation between the emperor at that time and Chibo. Chibo is the court physician. So it's a conversation between the emperor and the physician. And they're going back and forth and talking about how to stay healthy, how to treat disease, these types of things. And Chibo says, or the Yellow Emperor says in the beginning, he asks Chibo, he says, in ancient times, people were living. This is a 5,000-year-old book that's referring to ancient times. It says, in ancient times, people were living well past 100. What happened that created the decline in humanity or in society that made people to live a fraction of that? And then the whole book from there forward is a conversation. And there's many translations. But it's a conversation back and forth about how the body ages, how to keep the body healthy, how to prevent degeneration. And so Tai Chi and Qigong, in that sense, are one more modality or tool to improve circulation and keep things flowing correctly. Because if everything is flowing everywhere it needs to go unobstructed, then you can bet the body will stay healthy for decades and decades, and hopefully someday centuries.
Right. It's interesting. I've told a story before, but we were at a healthy aging event at a senior center, and one of the famous, I think his name is Tony. He's like a very well-known Tai Chi guy over at the YMCA, Nuuanu. And I went to his class one day. I couldn't get in. It was so full. Must have been 150 people in the class. Wow. And so he came to the senior center to do a presentation about Tai Chi and why it's important. So we made everybody in the group, about 80 people, to do some basic Tai Chi movements. Very slow, right? And it was the funniest thing. So I'm sitting here trying to practice, I do this Tai Chi because I've never done it before. And a few of the younger people, like 30s, were behind me and next to me, and where I was watching them, and they had a hard time with that. And you know why? They said, Percy, I got a lot of stuff to do. I got to check my messages. I got to call the office. I got to check my emails. I can't stop to slow down. They had a hard time doing this without touching their phone.
Wow.
I said, put that phone down. You got to take some time for yourself to relax, to understand why it's important to keep your body fluid. And it was pretty funny. And we all eventually stopped after 5 minutes because they're right. We had a lot of stuff to do. But I was producing this event. It was so funny. But
it's almost like an appendage. If we don't have it, and I've been guilty of this in the past, is if we don't have our phone with us, we feel like our hand is missing or something, right? As it keeps us connected. But I think what we're really looking for is that we want that connection all the time, right? So we want to stay connected. We don't want to lose the connection. So that's kind of like a manifestation. It says things about our society, yeah? Because, even with the, our beloved Kapuna community, one of the great things about the magazine and your organization is that you guys connect and reach out to people who are experiencing the effects of disconnection that can come with age and degeneration and decline. So that's what's so important about it. But phone is a tool for that, as long as it stays within reason.
Right. So in terms of brain health and brainwave music therapy and all that kind of thing, that's been very popular. Music to the brain, right? Mm-hmm. So can you talk about that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when I was doing my undergraduate degree, I took a minor in neuroscience, and
neuroscience.
We had some really fantastic professors at my undergraduate. I went to Portland State University. And so I took a lot of extracurricular classes in neuropsychology and neuroscience. And then I got interested in healing in the brain with music and sound. And so something really, really fascinating that's actually quite new is the effects of taking, let's say, a monk or a nun, their brainwaves, measuring their brainwaves while they're in a deep state of meditation or prayer or a contemplation, and then taking those brainwaves, those huge, slow wave brainwaves, and then taking those and putting them with something like, let's say, Bach or Mozart or classical music of some sort, or the harp, and then playing that music to someone, will let them listen to it, their brainwaves will actually start to go into that meditative state without them even trying to manually meditate. So we know that meditation and feeling calm and feeling peaceful, there's over 1,200 different biochemical reactions that go off in the body that are healing and rejuvenating and make us feel happy and energized and good, less stressed. But it's a huge new frontier in medicine is the application of sound and how it can affect our bodies. And so what we do know is that music is a way, it's like a shortcut to put us in that state. So that's why listening to something like brainwave music, Dr. Jeffrey Thompson's brainwave music is really fantastic. I recommend everyone go on Amazon and try to get a CD if you can find one. Listening to, if you have insomnia or you have stress or difficulty concentrating, anything. There's brainwave music for it. It's really fantastic. So I always play. I have a whole set of them that I will play depending on what the person needs, like music for relaxing the mind, or music for increasing circulation in the head, or music for this or music for that. There's everything.
I use Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Oh, nice.
They have fast and slow songs, and I like Michael Jackson.
Yeah?
Actually, Michael Jackson has a song that it's about Gone Too Early. I think the song's called Gone Too Early. I guess about a child that passed away early, and it was so good to hear the song. I recently lost a few friends, And that's what I thought about. And I played this song. It's a really good song. And if you can find that,
Yeah.
it's one of the older songs. But anyway, you recently had some stroke victims, and you did some therapy for post-stroke recovery. Can you talk about that?
Yes, and I want to just talk about this amazing book. So stroke is something that Chinese medicine treats really, really well. So I've had multiple clients come in with the after effects of a stroke. With acupuncture and auricular therapy, and sometimes Chinese herbs or Chinese herb soaks for their limbs or the parts of their body affected, get them walking again, get them put down their cane, then put down their walker, get them to move around, restore motor movement of the face or the limbs, remove a tremor. You can do many, many things with acupuncture. There's a book that's really amazing called My Stroke of Insight, and it's actually a neuroscientist's journey when she had a stroke from her perspective. And it's kind of like her spiritual experience and the opportunities and the gifts that came to her when she experienced a stroke, because it totally changed her life and revolutionized in a very positive way when she recovered how she viewed her health and her being, and everything was very inspirational. So if anyone out there is dealing with the after effects of a stroke, obviously I recommend Chinese medicine and acupuncture as a fantastic way to start your recovery process. But also you should pick up a copy of this book. It's called My Stroke of Insight. I've given that to clients, and they say it's one of the most inspirational, exciting books they've read. But going back to acupuncture, the applications of acupuncture when it comes to recovering from a stroke or recovering from a transient ischemic attack or any kind of, these are all circulation conditions, right? I think anyone would agree that the problem started because of blockage in the circulation that just went on and went on and went on, and then eventually one of the vessels was clotted or clogged, and then it broke, and that's what a stroke is essentially. So there's different types of strokes, and they can affect all different parts of the body, but actually the treatment principle in Chinese medicine is the same, and it's to stimulate the nerves, restore the functioning of the circulation, and improve the quality of the blood. Make sure it's filled with blood, oxygen, and nutrients, and getting to all the parts and regions of the body unobstructed, and the body will self-heal. But that's the core principle. So all the modalities that we use, acupressure, Chinese herbs, acupuncture, cupping, massage, certain nutrition, all these types of things are designed to that end. So with the idea that as long as it's unobstructed and flowing, the body recovers.
And is there any Chinese medicine that people can take for the post-stroke treatment?
Yes, there's some fantastic formulas. So I use a formula that was developed by my Pulse teacher. This is a custom Chinese herbal formula. So he is actually a Western-trained pharmacist and a Chinese medicine doctor. So he's a double doctor. So he has a very, very special perspective of looking at the biochemical aspects of the herbs, the energetic aspects of the herbs, and then how they correspond cohesively to create a really powerful healing effect in the body. So I use his formulas for the treatment of stroke, and they work extremely well. So they don't have the best tasting, no, I'm not going to claim it's like a Starbucks latte or something, right? So don't expect that. But you just choke it back, have a little OJ after, and you're fine. But they work well.
Let me ask you this. What are some of the common things that you see clients come in with today? Because I know you work with a lot of seniors, right? What are some of the common things? Is it back? Is it joint problem?
Yeah. So I see a lot of people actually with, I do see a lot of like musculoskeletal aches and pains and things like that, and people who want to keep their circulation healthy and prolong their longevity or improve their libido. Chinese medicine, those things are very relatively simple to treat. So I do see those things, but also I see more of the complicated organ system diseases and disorders. So we would say like organs that have become deficient or dysfunctional. For example, a dysfunctional or deficient thyroid, which led to hypothyroidism. A dysfunctional or deficient pancreas leads to diabetes. A dysfunctional deficient kidneys, so kidney disease or kidney failure. Heart disease, liver disease, post-cancer chemotherapy treatment. These are all things that I treat on a regular basis. And I would say Chinese medicine practiced correctly is absolutely incredible. hopefully people, they hear this interview, they never are going to feel powerless to do anything. Because I remember I've had clients come in to me and they tell me that, I didn't realize anything like this was possible or would have come in a decade ago or 2 decades ago. And they've been suffering all that time. And to me, it's I'm very happy that they're there, but also it's a little sad that they went on all this time and they didn't know, because they were told, oh, yes, you have to be on this insulin for the rest of your life. You have to be on this blood pressure medication, or no, you're just going to have to deal with this pain. And it just
I don't like that.
I don't like that.
When I hear that, so how long have you been taking medication? In fact, it's funny. I had 2 shoulder surgeries a couple of years ago, about 2 years by now. And the second time I had shoulder surgery, because the first one was good, but I still felt some pain in my shoulder. So I went to another orthopedic guy, Sid Smith, by the way. He's great. Orthopedic associates there. When I was getting ready for surgery, I'm in the surgical room, and nurse comes in, hooks up the blood things, all that kind of stuff, and she goes, "Okay, Mr. Ihara, what kind of medications are you taking?" I said, "Medications? Yeah, well, you must be taking something." I said, "Well, I take vitamin C, multivitamin, glucosamine, turmeric, and those kind of for joint issues." And she goes, "No, what kind of no, not vitamins, not supplements. What kind of medication?" I said, I was shaking my head. I said, "Can I ask why you asked me that question? Because I don't take anything." She goes, "Oh, you're 57, 56 at the time, 55 at the time." Goes, "Oh, everybody your age takes something." I said, "What?" So, I did this test. The following week, I asked about 6 of my friends, and absolutely all but one was taking some kind of medication. I could not believe it.
It is.
And most of them were skinnier and smaller than me. I could not believe it, James. So if you're listening out there, don't take no for an answer. Don't take, okay, this is the medication you take. Get off the medication. Find a way to get off the medication. Come see James. Get some insight on what's happening. Because you know what they say. You don't want to do too many MRIs.
No,
because that's not good for your body. Like cortisone shots. I had a couple cortisone shots on my shoulder because I was getting ready for a national tournament and it was really hurting. So they just give you a cortisone shot. But you don't want more than 2 a year of those because they get hardened and it'll turn into arthritis down the road. But a lot of pro athletes do that.
Yeah.
To help with the pain. But it's something that I think everybody needs to realize that if you have chronic pain at 50, 60, what are you going to be like at 70, 80 years old?
And I think something for people to really understand, and this ties in right to what you're saying, is that recognize that conventional medicine is fantastic for treating emergencies and acute problems, but there's no incentive for the pharmaceutical industry to produce necessarily medication cures for conditions, because it's a multi-billion-dollar, dare I say, trillion-dollar industry. So medications can save lives and definitely have their place, but to a large degree, and I find this to be very, very true with all of the clients that I see, is that they are overprescribed and that they can lead to a lot of really negative, nasty side effects and actually shorten people's life expectancy.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So I can tell you that, let's say in the last week, I've had 20 clients come in who are coming in with the complaint of diabetes. And diabetes maybe with a vision problem, diabetes maybe with back problem, diabetes maybe with
causes all those problems.
Neuropathy, yeah. And all of them were on a statin medication. Actually, 18 out of 20 were on a statin medication.
Wow.
0 of these 20 people received any nutritional counseling, which to me, my eyes got so big because they're having in the morning, I'm having Cheerios with a couple spoons of sugar and a Yoplait yogurt. I said, oh my goodness, it's disaster. And so gave them nutritional program, gave them nutritional counseling, help them, give them acupuncture to help their neuropathy, improve their vision. And lo and behold, guess what? 80% of the clients who come in who have diabetes are able to dramatically reduce or come off of their insulin with 4 or 5 months of proper nutrition. I mean, it's astounding. And so to think that it's not being.
Okay. Anyway, James, you hear the music? Well, you can't hear the music. I can hear the music. We gotta take this and we gotta end this show. We gotta come back next week. But you listen to James Carner, Luna Acupuncture
and Wellness.
The phone number again?
503-853-2866.
Otherwise, you can just go online, check out his website.
You're welcome to come in for a free
and come in for
consultation. Give me a
which is
call
really
if you have any
important.
questions.
Yeah. I appreciate it, James. Our local guy here, expert guy. Hey, thanks for all the great information. We'll talk to you soon. Anyway, everybody, every Saturday, 5 to 6, Sunday from 3 to 4, here on AM 690, The Answer. As always, live well, everybody. Have a great weekend. Aloha.